Check out this absolutely sick GT63 SE that was custom built. Just got here yesterday. It's unwrapped. Man, is this beautiful. White with the black wheels, black carbon ceramics. Got the arrow on the back, the big spoiler. It's an SE Performance, so this has got the V8 combined with an electric motor that combined will give you 805 horsepower and over 1,047 pound-feet of torque. So this thing is just absolutely vicious. Went with the red pepper on the inside. Great choice. Big fan. What do you think? Do you like all the contrast that's going on here? I do. I think it was very well done. So we're gonna go hop in the ride, go across to the used car building, see what Adam is after today. He's been on a buying spree, snatching up all the cool used cars. We're really starting to go after some kind of specialty and enthusiast type vehicles. The red pepper. I don't know why I always say it like I have a Boston accent. So anyway, we're heading across the street. We're gonna see what's going on. Let's see what Klaus is doing. What you doing there, Aaron?
Getting the car ready.
Getting the car ready? Is it sold?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
Could be a problem. But the second time it's been to Jeep and it's still not fixed.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Good, I don't know. Rough idle. We're gonna see. He's on his way to Uber though.
Is it under warranty?
Yeah, it's the second time we took it to them.
So we've taken it to Jeep twice and they can't get it fixed.
No.
That's not good.
You gotta love it, man. So he's gonna come here anyway. He's on his way in Uber. So.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he can take it to a different Jeep dealer and have better luck.
Yeah, that. I think what we're gonna do is give him a loaner, just something he can drive while we get it serviced.
So is this something that he's already agreed to buy, or he's like just pretty sure he's going to buy, or?
Pretty sure. I mean, already asked, like, can I put it down on the credit card?
Okay.
And then he's coming here.
Where's Adam?
What's going on?
What's up? Where's Adam?
He was just in his office. We got looking at a G-Wagon in the back a second ago.
Oh, okay. All right. See if we can find him. See if we can find him. We're going to go back to the back. Oh. Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. I was going to see if you were back in the shop, but here you are.
Just here.
I found him.
Just here.
All right. I wanted to check in with you to see what you're trying to buy. You won't believe the email that I got this morning.
Oh boy, who's mad?
Oh, nobody's mad. Somebody who goes, hey, I have a CLK Black Series with 6,800 miles. Can I sell it to you?
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, buddy.
I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Let's look at that.
So he sent me some pictures, but I'm like, how about a VIN and a picture of your odometer? So we're still waiting on that, but
I like that. That's exciting.
yeah, and it looks, he sent some very random pictures, but it looks nice.
What color is it?
Same, it's silver. It's basically like a, yeah.
I like that.
Anyway, any interesting targets today?
Bring a trail. You know, I won't lie. It's a little bit more dry right now. I only look day by day.
Day by
I
day.
don't like to get too far ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Cars and bids, there's a couple of interesting ones. One of them is a 03 Viper convertible.
Oh, get out of here.
It's got 40,000 miles on it. Black car. So
Wow.
the interesting one on this is
The side pipes.
yeah, the side pipes. But the guy installed a cup holder, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute because it's quite the eyesore.
Dude, that literally is the cup holder I got on Amazon to put on our like kids' wagon.
I mean, I don't even know. Like that would be in the way of shifting. Like that is it bolted on? Is it stuck
No,
on?
that's probably adhesive.
SLS black. I'm sorry, SLS Final Edition.
With the
Coupe
carbon
GT.
fiber hood, 4,700 miles. Yeah, I think everybody with an SLS now is racing to list it for sale.
I think so. After that white red card did what it did.
Yeah, SLSs are having their moments right now.
Those are hot. Yeah, so I had looked at this in and out of here a couple times. It's nice. I
Maybe
don't know if we need something this heavy right this second. Unless you really want it.
well, of course I always want the SLSs, but I mean, if we can't make sense of them, we can't make sense of them.
237,650.
237,650, and I bet you somebody got a nice discount when they bought the car,
100%.
right? That was a different time back then. This was right before the supercar boom. You know what was the first car to do it, I think? Was the 911R. Remember that car?
Yeah, that car went stupid. Oh, this car's a Carfax.
Because everybody thought it was going to be the last manual transmission 911. Boy, they really pulled the wool over all of our eyes, didn't they? And
That's tragic.
oh, a damage report on the Carfax. That is a game over.
Yeah, this was a discussion that Doug and I had earlier. We were praising a AMG GTR, which there are very, very few of at this point in time. I actually remember that car when I was brand new here. And
Yeah.
the reality of that market is that if there are 10 AMG GTRs out there and 9 of them have clean Carfaxes, you either really desperately want to have that color, or you're buying it because it's more inexpensive than the other ones.
Right.
Because it has a Carfax. And it's a minor, which I know, like if I were buying the car personally, and I have done this before, I wouldn't really care because I know minors are minor.
Right.
There's not much, on cars like this, most of the time it's cracking a splitter or going over a parking block or something like that. And people don't know better and they file insurance because those carbon fiber splitters or
They're expensive.
unique splitters are very expensive. And then before they know it, instead of paying $4,000 for a new splitter, they've lost $10,000 to $15,000 in vehicle value because of the Carfax.
Let's unpack this a little bit, Adam, because I'm sure there are dealers out there that do this, and that's why people get all riled up. But a lot of people show up in the comment section and say, oh, typical dealer to devalue somebody's car because it has a bad Carfax and then act like it's no big deal when we go to resell it and not impact its value at all. My argument is that here, for all the reasons that we'll get into in a moment, that a car with a bad Carfax is devalued. We do not list it as if it doesn't have a bad Carfax, right? Like we take that into account.
100%.
Because, like you said, put two cars side by side that are equal. One has a bad Carfax, one does not. The one with the clean Carfax sells first every time.
Every time, especially if pricing is similar. And that's why, and now that doesn't mean I'm robbing someone blind for a car with a Carfax, especially if they're trading it in, which, if we're being honest, we usually give people.
I would say most of the time we hardly take into account at all, right? Yeah. Unless it's something like this where we know it's going to really be a tough sell.
The difference is that I don't have to take this car, right? I can let this go and someone else have it. But if someone's trading it in, it's almost a more difficult conversation with that person because most of the time it's not their fault, right? Or they had no idea.
Yep.
So we try to help them as much as we can, but if I have the opportunity to pass on a car unless I can own it for
a number that makes sense,
significantly less, but less than one with a clean Carfax, then I'm going to let it go.
And this is the most interesting piece of data that I've heard in recent memory, and I give credit to Brian Kramer, who's with Cars Commerce, for showing this to me and telling me about it. And it will make sense to a lot of you who shop for cars this way, but this is coming directly from Cars Commerce, which is cars.com, which many of you, I'm sure, have used at some point to shop for a used vehicle. And I would venture to guess that the statistic is probably true for Auto Trader and Car Gurus and all the other third-party listing sites.
Right over there.
But when people go online to shop for a used car, and this is from cars.com, not from me, I'm not just saying this to say it, 50% of the time, every used car shopper clicks clean Carfax only, which means that 50% of people that are shopping for a certain car will ever even know that a car with a bad Carfax is listed for sale. They won't see it.
Right.
Problem number one is that it's got a bad Carfax, and somebody's going to have to be comfortable enough to buy it if they're considering it versus one that doesn't. Problem number two is that you might never even find that person because they might only be searching for cars with a clean Carfax.
It does make an impact.
So it's a visibility problem, not just a selling problem, but it's a visibility problem. Is that we can have a conversation with you in person that, oh, it's no big deal, it's just a minor, and look, I'm sure that most dealerships will say that. If it's a minor accident on the Carfax, then it probably wasn't that big of a deal. In fact, most of the time it doesn't even say accident, it just says damage.
Correct.
So yeah, in person, it might not have been that big of a deal, but what you might lose sight of is that there's 50% less people that will even consider buying it.
And there's different situations, right? I would argue that on a commuter car, a GLC, a GLE, an X5, an X3, something that is going to be driven 15,000 miles a year, and you're kind of shopping for price a little bit, that balance of color, features, price, things like that. I would absolutely take one for 1,000, 1,500, whatever it is less with a minor on the Carfax, because I know that a minor's like nothing, right? That's almost like a reporting error, right? Something that really shouldn't have been reported, but for whatever odd reason did.
Yeah.
Now, flip that around and look at the other market, the 2015 SLS AMG GT Final Edition. That's
currently at a high bid of $290 or $301,000.
That's a collector's car,
right?
If the car's got 5,000 miles, and 5,000 miles on it, it's 11 years old. You're buying that car because A, you loved it back then and you can't wait to have one, or B, you're going to put it away and let it appreciate in value because it will.
Yeah, you're going to treat it like Pokemon cards.
Correct.
Somebody who's going to spend $300,000 to $400,000 on a car like this can afford to say, I'll wait for one that doesn't have anything on the Carfax.
And that's not to say it's worthless, right? Like, I don't know, but this could be the only red SLS GT Final Edition out there, which would make it exceptionally unique, right? And the Carfax can be a little bit more put to the side.
And I would venture to guess, just going from memory, that it may not be the only one, but I guarantee you it's one of very few, because they were all pretty much black and white.
There's a red one at Ferrari Boca with 991 miles on it.
So if you were shopping for an SLS, would you want the Gullwing or would you want a convertible, Emmett? You want the doors that go up, or do you want, yeah? Right?
Yeah.
See, I'm a convertible guy, but I would take the Gullwing, right? Because this is a case where you do lose the most iconic part of the car, which are those doors. I mean, how do you not? Those doors are epic.
Gotta have it.
And nobody really had the audacity to try to copy it except for Tesla.
Last car before that is right